I've been thinking about the differences between theists and atheists. Now, we all know that the most important difference between a theist and an atheist is that a theist believes in one or more gods and an atheist doesn't. But you only have to look at the debates that rage between the two groups to see that there is, overall, roughly speaking, a more fundamental difference between the two groups. Of course, there are some atheists who believe in certain supernatural phenomena. There are, for example, Wiccans and the likes who don't profess to believe in a god, but do believe in certain supernatural things. But let's just put that aside. In most cases, or in many cases, you'll find that a theist would be somebody of a religious mindset, whereas, on the other hand, an atheist would be somebody who would embrace a more naturalistic mindset. And I think the very important difference between the two groups is in how they perceive a person's beliefs influence their reality. Now, on the one hand, you have a very purist naturalistic mindset. A mindset that would believe in a total, objective reality, and that would essentially have it that no amount of belief could make the slightest bit of difference to that reality. And I think where a lot of religious people kind of get the little crowbar wriggled into it, where they think they can crack open an atheistic belief system, is the obvious falsehood of that statement. Which isn't to say, on the other hand, that it is reasonable then to accept that there is such a thing as subjective reality. Not in the least. But, on the other hand, there is something to be said for accepting that belief or faith, or whatever other word you want to use, makes a difference. But how? How would a naturalist come to accept that without basically turning over to the other side, so to speak? And I think I might have come up with a solution to this problem. You see, I think what is happening is that people often forget that we as observers of reality are nonetheless, of course, completely embedded into reality. We are part of reality. We can't separate ourselves from reality when we observe reality. We are in the thick of it. We are completely embedded in reality, and then reality is completely enmeshed with every fiber of our being, down to every level, the most fundamental level of our being. We are inextricably linked with reality. So, everything we do, even if it's believing something, has an effect on reality. So, our beliefs are effectively a feedback mechanism between us and the reality that we are part of. So in that sense, you can start realizing, you can start understanding that what we believe in does make a difference. But we also start realizing then to what extent it does that, or what is reasonable to conclude from that. Now, obviously, every one of us has a very huge influence on a very particular part of reality, and that's that part of reality that's represented by our bodies and our minds. We influence that very, very strongly. We can even decide what our bodies are going to do next. So there is that part of reality on which we have a very direct influence, and beliefs make a huge difference there. We all know the situation of where we believe in ourselves before we start that important game. and that makes a difference on our chances of winning the game or losing it. If we go in with the attitude like it's hopeless and there's no chance of winning this game, that doesn't improve our chances, does it? On the other hand, Andromeda is slowly falling towards the Milky Way, and no matter what you believe in, it's not going to make the slightest bit of difference to the fact that this is going to happen in several million years. The two galaxies are going to collide. And between that, there are lesser and lesser degrees to which our beliefs and ideas can have an influence on reality. And I think it is the realization of that separates a naturalistically minded person from a religiously minded person. A religiously minded person does not have the ability to distinguish this. And that is how they arrive at fallacies like believing that what they believe in makes a difference to what will happen to them after their lives, or that Jesus is the only road to salvation, and other such, face it, nonsense.